I decided for my first video to read, or if we could call this read, something on the internet. I'll put the link down below if you want to read it without the matching voice, because I have a terrible accent, and each time I try to actually record this, I had to try again like 20 times for each fucking paragraph, so it's so long that I decided to just put it in Google Translate and record it, so it will be better that way. So let's begin. And by the way, I'm sorry for the inconvenience if you don't like the matching voice.
Dear creationists, you are stupid, genuinely stupid, by every conceivable metric that we can. Assess intelligence, intellect, mental ability, reasoning and sense, you're stupid. Even the very ability to string words together in coherent ways, you're stupid. You fail at all of this, you are fucking stupid. There is no way of getting out of this accusation. It is as close to an absolute, proven fact that an honest assessment of the situation can get. Not ignorant. No, that's something else. Ignorance is merely the lack of knowledge, that's fine. I cannot blame someone for merely not knowing some random piece of shit, or not being exposed to information. You don't get a choice in ignorance and merely not knowing. For a start, you're born ignorant of everything in the entire world. Newborn babies don't even know what things in the world are part of their own fucking bodies and what things aren't. They really do have to learn this for themselves. So, no, you're not just ignorant, because if you were, I wouldn't be here writing this. No, this is something fucking different, far fucking worse, what you stand not only accused of, but proven guilty of. Shits and pisses all over the innocence of simple ignorance and goes into the dark territory of deceit and fucking lies. This is willful ignorance. This is prideful ignorance. You take your fucking ignorance and wave it around at every opportunity to say, hey, look at me. I'm so fucking stupid, and expect people to give you some kind of shit-hot respect for it. Do I want to blame you for it when your elders, and priests, and preachers, and the unqualified crank pseudo-scientific quasi-philosophers they get to back them up, have all conspired to brainwash you into thinking this is a good thing? Yes, I fucking do. You have made a choice to stay ignorant, and be happy with it. You're a fucking idiot. And you damn well know it. You're probably a right-wing, homophobic little shit as well. So probably think being gay is a choice. So here's one for you. Being a fucking Fruit Loop imbecile is a choice. A choice you made when you decided that thinking was too much fucking effort and just let some cock end from answers in Genesis do it for you. You know it, and you just don't fucking care. Why do I bother with you? Just why? Why do I drag myself down to that sort of level? I continually drag myself down to the level of creationist cock-ends, but just can't figure out why. Let's look at some clear facts here. I have a fucking master's degree. I took 4 years out of my life learning quantum mechanics, management, nuclear physics, organic, inorganic, analytical, green, environmental, atmospheric chemistry, mathematics, and a fuck ton of life skills and problem-solving skills possessed by a tiny fraction of people. Oh yes, now that's some fucking catharsis right there. I can write, I can draw, I can play and compose music, and I can program a computer to do a little fucking jig. Importantly, I know the difference between there, and fuck knows that's a rare skill. I can do most of that without getting my cock trapped in a blender, too. I'm even nice on occasion, and if I try, even likable. I'm just going to blow a trumpet and say I have most talents for singing, Lisa. I wrote a whopping 400 fucking page book to get a doctorate. It's sat there on a table right now, all bound and shiny with gold letters and my name on it, looking thick enough to bludgeon someone to death with to get that far. I was locked in a room with two experts who read it and who spent nearly 3 hours ripping it to shreds and finding any excuse they could not to give the final award to me. At the end of it all, half a dozen people with the same level of qualification and beyond have all conspired to say, "You're good enough to be one of us." I fucking starved. I fucking wrote till I dropped. I stayed up late and got up early. All to get that, and as blasé and modest as I try to come across in public, I wouldn't have done any of that if I didn't think it was all worth it. And I've taught students, people even better than me, who have fought their way through the same shit and more, have said I'm good enough to be their proxy or their replacement to teach the next generation. I'm actively passing on knowledge, whether established or cutting edge, to students who one day will grow up to be the next me. Some days I hate those little shits. But to be fair to them, one day a good chunk of them will also be locked in that room with a pair of experts, shitting themselves and wanting to all go away. They will come out of it alive as one of us. And they will fucking well deserve every bit of it. I am a cog in that academic and scientific machine, and am well proud of it. In short, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm rational. I'm reasonable. I'm brainy as fuck, as some might want to put it, and have the paper to prove it. By every conceivable metric, I am at the top of the gray matter tree, in pleasant company. Of course, but it's still spacious at the top. If I believed in the absoluteness of the IQ test, I'd be bragging my ass off about being in the 98th percentile. I dunno, actually. Last time I took one I was, like, 15. Who gives a shit? That's me. You, however, as someone who thinks the planet magically poofed into existence 6,000 fucking years ago, you're at the bottom of that tree, right down there in the grim dark bottom amongst the detritus, the worms and things that couldn't even pull on a fucking pair of trousers without falling ass over tit to the floor. I may well be in the 98th percentile or wherever, but you dumb fuck, wouldn't even know what percentile means without Google, which, by the way, has been built by the kind of people who know what percentile means without using Google, because they had to have some way of knowing what it meant before they fucking built the thing. Since you dumb fuck imbecile, need every little fucking thing explained to you in small words that don't tax your brain too hard. Got that one? Need it dumbed down further? Fuck off. You. Because you manage to be mentally retarded in such a way that it's actually offensive to those with genuine learning difficulties. Couldn't fucking understand the mere basics of anything I could possibly teach you about anything. Chemistry, biology, or physics, it'd be all like fucking magic to you. And all the research and understanding would be like something that just happens to other people. Even the fucking basics of logic, or language, or how to frame an argument, or what evidence is, or why it's important, or how science even works would be something beyond your tiny brain to fathom for even a second. Hell, the hurdles I would have to leap just to get you people to the point of discussing actual evolutionary biology, or actual geology, or actual radiometric dating would require me to type thousands of words, spend months of my life, and back up to the basics of how if you have two beans and then two more beans you have some beans. We're talking some seriously fucking basic shit here that I'd have to cover first. And after all that effort and time and even sincere attempts to get your fucking brain to learn something, it still wouldn't be worth it. You would ignore it anyway. You'd just let it go in one ear and out of the fucking other as if the squishy shit between them that others take for granted was just a gloopy transparent mess for you. You wouldn't even address the fucking basics of what I could tell you. I could try to exemplify every nuance, meaning, and deconstruction of, say, the phrase, evolution is a religion, and you'd zone out as soon as I broke into fucking polysyllabic words, and then, just as a little bit of drool came out, you'd say, but evolution is just a religion. It's all just fucking voodoo shit to you. Something you're actively scared of and don't want to understand. You've rendered yourself physically incapable of understanding and basic comprehension, and so I find myself almost constantly, every time I see one of you dumb shits opening your fucking mouths, struggling not to outright scream from the rooftops shouting, "Fuck this shit." Every single word in this extensive rant has been compressed in my head into a single thought. A thought that fires in my brain every time I see you slack-jawed fucktards speak or type, or even making a motion to open your mouths or put fingers to a keyboard. You sit and worship people like Kenthoven, whose entire thesis wouldn't even count as a winning entry in NaNoWriMo, which requires 50,000 words in a month and has a flash reading age of a preteen by contrast. The Flesch-Kincaid reading complexity for my own thesis goes to the part of the scale where reading age stops being a meaningful concept, and a single chapter is larger than Kenthoven's entire derp fest. And there's fucking diagrams to boot. Fucking suck it. Or you shout amen after every little tiny piece of feces that oozes out of the mouth of Ray. Comfort the man, lest we forget, who thinks the word bibliophile is a fucking insult derived from pedophile. These aren't just people amongst your ranks, these are your fucking experts. Your fucking experts can't even wrap their heads around the simple shit understood by even the amateurish internet atheists or pop science enthusiasts. Hell, I know people who would faint at the sight of an integral, but hey, that shit ain't for everyone, and they're still fucking smarter than you, since they're not so stupid as to think evolution requires goldfish giving birth to zebras. You repeat mantras that have been refuted countless times. Evolution is a religion. How do you know? Were you there? If we evolved from monkeys, how come there are still monkeys? What the fuck do these things even mean, really? It proves nothing. I means nothing. It's bollocks. The lot of it, even if you ever get around to addressing any of the countless refutations to this simplistic fucking bullshit. All you can ever come up with is restating the point again, or whining about some other pathetic and irrelevant detail, or, and with fucking depressing regularity, spouting some bullshit about how people like me are suppressing your freedom. You know what? Go fucking jump off a bridge and test your freedom to not believe in gravity. Literally, go do that now. I'll wait. I'm not even going to bother with refuting any examples here or going into specifics about evolution myself. I'm breaking plenty of my usual rules about dealing with you stupid as fuck individuals already, so I'm going to break another and tell you to do your own simple cursory fucking research on this. Not that you'd manage that, as anything you ever cite must always come from an approved source like Creation Wiki, a site, may I add, that actively makes a point, and a proud point at that, of stifling any potential disagreement by not allowing any edit that is pro-evolution. Do you see that bullshit on skeptic or evolutionist websites? No, you fucking don't. You want to know why? Because we want the world to see the best you dumb fuck-hearted intellectual rejects have come up with, in all their mundanely pathetic glory. Just so everyone can see how fucking terrible each and every one of your so-called arguments are. Sometimes, we don't even bother responding. We just quote you verbatim. That means unaltered, which means we didn't change it. Ooh, look. Nested parentheses, that means brackets. I bet that's blown your tiny fucking mind, because even casual scrutiny makes your points look terrible. And frankly, a full refutation just isn't worth the fucking effort, not because we can't, but because, as I said above, I'd practically have to teach you the English fucking language from scratch to point out the flaws. You, who thinks a fucking single man and rib-clone woman and their 2 sons populated the entire earth, without any freaking fracking fucking incest occurring because, hey, don't ask awkward questions. Hold in high regard people who aren't even worthy of pissing in the academic shadow of people like me. So where does that place you in that pecking order? You intentionally refuse to understand simple things, like how irrelevant evolution by natural selection is to abiogenesis, like the fact that macro and micro evolution are just things you made up, at least in the way you morons use those terms. Or like how natural selection has nothing at all to do with eugenics. It's all, oh, you're fucking god, it's Hitler all the fucking time. I mean, seriously. You intentionally avoid learning, you avoid understanding. You actively train yourself to not understand, and you fucking revel in all this. You memorize your silly little one-sentence replies that mean sweet fuck all, and, by some magic, expect educated people like me to bow down to your right of free expression. Well, this here is my free expression in response, you fucking lunatic. You've damn well driven me to it over the years. You have no intellectual rights to this debate at all because you cannot even speak the language it requires. Even worse, you seem to think this actually qualifies you more. How the fuck does that logic work? Hint. It fucking doesn't. It never will. Get with the fucking program already. If you cannot comprehend basic facts, you cannot expect to be invited to the debating table as an equal. It's like you're coming into a boardroom full of people with projections and presentations and graphs and calculations. And then you start smearing the table in bullshit, actual bullshit, and rolling around in it, flinging it at people, painting the window with it, flailing your arms up and down to make a little bullshit angel in the feces-strewn floor, and then standing up to shout, "Ta-da, give me a Nobel Prize, you're not my academic equal. In terms of intelligence and knowledge, you're fucking scum rotting at the bottom of a dark and forgotten barrel while I'm basking in the sun. I would love, genuinely love to help raise you up to being on my level. I would love it. But you wouldn't listen. That's not really a prediction, it's experience. I've seen you fucks talk under a Ray Comfort Facebook update. You just don't listen. It's a fact. I would tell you to read X, Y, and Z. Hell, I'd even write my own summary of X, Y, and Z. But you wouldn't listen or even care. It would fall on intentionally deaf ears, as I said earlier. You're not merely ignorant, you're fucking willfully ignorant. But you know what the worst thing is? The worst part is that some creationist out there, probably you because it's being addressed to you, is probably going to find this rant and say, oh, look at the little evolutionist, running out of points and resorting to insults. Well, fuck off, fuck the fuck off. Fucking fuck the fucking fuck off. Boob up some vegetables in your own bullshit and cram it. You think this is my attempt to prove you wrong? No, not at all. This is my attempt to insult you. This is my attempt to degrade and belittle you. Your beliefs and your reasons all in one. They've already been shown to be wrong. I don't need to add to that. It's done. It's dusted. There is no fucking debate, you morons. The world ain't 6,000 years old. Women weren't made from ribs. Dinosaurs didn't go onto a big boat to escape a flood. And natural selection doesn't mean bacteria turning into chickens in a petri dish overnight so that Hitler could kill Jews. You lost this good and hard the day science started digging through the geological column. If you want to complain that I've ran out of legitimate responses by writing this, then that just proves every single point that I'm making in this profanity-ridden rant, that you don't fucking listen, and are even proud of the fact that you've left yourself bereft of the ability to do so. You're not stupid because you believe the world appeared out of nowhere sometime more recently than the domestication of the dog. And no, I'm not going to tentatively say something like evidence suggests that it's more recent than the domestication of the dog. No, it's a fucking fact that the dog became domesticated in the tens of thousands of years ago. I don't really give much of a shit that you believe it. That doesn't concern me. You're a fucking shit-faced idiot because of why you believe it. If you haven't got the gist of this already, you are proud of being stupid. You actively refuse to learn. You don't examine anything critically. You fall for any piece of shit evidence your masters tell you. You don't question them. You don't realize they're just out there wanting to keep you stupid, to keep you ignorant, and to keep you not wanting to learn about the universe from sources that actually took the time to look at the universe. They want to keep you that way because you buy into their shit with money. Your actual hard-earned money. You actually value these people with your working time. You go out, slog away in some backwater burger flipping hellhole, and actually give part of your monetary reward to people who want to keep you stupid. That's calling to the rest of us who have a working and fully functioning brain that we deign to actually use. You pay them, you donate to them. You buy their books and DVDs that they produce for fuck all money and sell at a premium. Seriously. How much money does it cost Ray Comfort to show up to a college campus with a cheap camcorder to make one of his derp fests? Fuck all. Yet you'll pay him $15 plus postage for the privilege of sucking his cock and reassuring yourselves over it. Meanwhile, he practically fucking swims in cash. Your cash, and it'll keep going because he wants you to be stupid. Follow the fucking money, right? It's in their best interests to trick and con you. Wake the fuck up to it. You show this crap to your kids so they grow up stupid and buy more DVDs and books by the Comforts and the Hovens and the Hams and the Gishes of this world. You show them Jesus riding a fucking dinosaur and pictures of Noah mucking out a boat that's chock full of animals that somehow manage to survive and reproduce to form every living thing we see on the planet in a geological blink of an eye. Breathe, and you think this is right. You don't think this is the most ridiculous idea in the world. If it wasn't for the coincidental fact that you're backed by a non-falsifiable belief shared by a significant proportion of the population, you would actually be declared clinically insane. No fucking joke here. There are actually people with more coherent and rational beliefs in their head being secured in mental health wards. Despite being as embedded as you possibly can in the evidence for it, you don't realize that there's an entire industry that makes a fortune from retarding your ability to think. You accept this and refuse to actually exercise your innate abilities to think, question, and explore so long as you say the magic words, "but I am thinking, questioning, and exploring." No, you're fucking not. If you were, you'd be in my position. You, too, would find yourself locked in a room, actively battling and fighting with people tearing your ideas apart and demanding that you defend them and stand by them and justify every single thing you say. But you're not. You never will be, though. Let's be fair to the non-doctorate holding non-creationists reading this for a brief moment. You don't even have to be in that position of getting an academic qualification. You just want to be in the position where you're willing to explore and learn and discuss and adapt. You don't have to have any pieces of paper to be my equal. You just have to have the curiosity and a bit of genuine passion for learning. That alone more than qualifies you. Creationists, on the other hand, they refuse even that, and worse, they think it's a good thing. There are a lot of people I think are stupid. Really fucking stupid. I mean, you might think it's a long way down to the shops, but that's peanuts compared to this stupid. There are people who think the World Trade Center wasn't hit by planes, but by holograms. There are people who think the skies are filled with mind-altering chemicals that can be dispersed from miles away, no less, by spraying vinegar in the air. There are people who think we are not being faced with a potential disaster of epic proportions because of how our society has polluted the planet. There are people who think vaccines cause autism and will find any old piece of shit evidence to prove it, no matter how many times even the mere correlation is disproved. There is serious fucking stupid out there in the wide, dark, and idiotic world. But creationism is something else. It has that industry supporting it and perpetuating it. And it has people who buy into it so willingly, and you. Because you think that everything came from nothing in a fucking click of a magic man's fingers. Or part of this, you're out there derping on daily about something that we using the entire knowledge collectively gathered by the human race. No is a lie, honestly, though. You probably think it's a lie too, but you're both too damn proud of yourself and too damn proud of your stupidity to admit it. That's your problem. It's not about fossils, or genetics, or radiometric dating. It's about your unwillingness to learn and better yourself, and it always will be. In conclusion, fuck you, go fuck yourself, and may the God you believe in have mercy on your pathetic, idiotic, morally and intellectually bankrupt soul.